Alright everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean and this is In The Mix, episode 102 of our Isle of Man series. Now if you haven't gone and watched yesterday's episode 101, go and check that one out because it's going to give you like an in-depth review of the entire squad, introduce the new faces, see which guys we've kept on, which guys we've let go, and previews our entire first season in the Premier Division. So you want to go and check that one out because it's going to give so much more context to everything that you're going to see in this episode. But our season continues. Still early doors, but things are going really well. We're going to give an opportunity to some of our squad players in the first game, and then we've got a massive fixture coming up in the second one. Let's not waste too much time. Let's jump straight into the game and go through it. So, of course, since that last episode, we have played 2 league games. We had one very comprehensive win against Huddersfield. Oh, well, I should probably open up. We did beat West Brom 3-0 on the first day of the season. You guys saw that in yesterday's episode if you went back and watched it. We beat Huddersfield 2-0, a very good performance as well. We were already 2-0 up when they went down to 10 men. After 2 yellow cards, we had a bunch of opportunities to add goal difference late on, but they just defended very staunchly. They kind of got 10 men behind the ball after that. And it was difficult to break them down. You would think if we played that game again in like 10 weeks' time, we'd be finishing our chances a little bit better. We then played West Ham away from home, and we did lose 2-1, which was a little bit frustrating. Renato Sanchez, still going at 34 years of age, got the opener for West Ham. We did equalise through Lionel Altamiranda, a bit of a scrappy goal from a set piece. Before Dwight McNeil broke everyone's heart in the additional time, I think the 95th minute it said there. Sorry, 93rd minute. With an eventual winner, Lars Torp got sent off for a second yellow card very, very late on as we pushed for an equalising goal. It will mean that he'll miss this game today, which is fine. We play first Doncaster in the Carabao Cup. They are, of course, a lower division side down in League One. I would expect us to beat them, but we are going to rotate quite a bit. Let some of our reserve and backup players have the opportunity to play 90 minutes, which they probably aren't going to get a tremendous amount this season, given that we need to prioritise the league as much as possible. And then we're going to play Newcastle, who are up in 4th position. It does mean 3 games played, we're in 5th, so we are doing quite well. Those 6 points are huge, but you've got to remember, like, we're probably going to go on long streaks without wins. Those 2 victories are against the other 2 promoted sides from last season, so they were games that we had to win. I'm very grateful that we've gotten those 6 points early, but I don't think this is a true reflection of where we're actually going to be in the table once everything is said and done. But a great opportunity to utilise the squad. I think in both the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, we're probably going to use the reserve squad as much as we can, give them an opportunity to play in the cup competitions, and we're going to keep our first choice lineup ready and available for the league as our priority. As such, though, Vizcanyan's going to be in goal, a rare appearance for him in a recorded episode. Taylor and Greisinger will be our central defensive partnership. Akeem Miller, 16 years of age, will make his debut at left back. Sean Dixon will play over on the right. The Wolf will come back in and anchor midfield, our successful captain last season as we won the championship. Centre will play as the Messiah next to him. Petkovic makes his debut at the number 10, our off-season signing from Mansfield. The 20-year-old Bosnian international has fairly good potential ability. We'll see how he goes today. Winter and Rosero will play on the wings. Both have made appearances off the bench in the early part of the season. Winter's done all right. Rosero's only had about 10 minutes, and Kamara will play up top. Doncaster look like they're playing a very flat 4-4-2. They've still got a couple of holdouts. Players now in season 13 still playing from the initial database. 32-year-old Harry Pickering is their left back from Crewe. He's been at Plymouth, Hull, Doncaster, a couple of other teams as well. He plays just in behind Joe Adams, who will play as their left winger, ex-Brentford player. Now 30 years of age, looks like he's had a decent little career in the lower divisions of England. Over on the other side, they've got Matty Cash, 34 years of age now, a very good Nottingham Forest player at the start of everyone's save and database. But you can see, like, physically, the game's kind of leaving him behind a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how this side goes. We are going to go attacking. We're going to keep going with that same shape and structure, particularly given that we're at home and playing against lower league opposition. Assertive, I'm just going to say, just go out there, relax, play your natural game, and we're just going to see if any of these squad players, any of these backup guys kind of give me food for thought, something to think about in terms of our starting 11. Petkovic, deep ball in for first highlight. Greisinger with a good header. He did score on the opening day of the season against West Brom from a similar set-piece scenario, but that one just over the crossbar. Right, not many highlights here. We're going to use our demand more shout with 10 minutes remaining. There is an immediate highlight on the right-hand side. Dixon with the throw-in, exchanges passes with Petkovic. Then Dixon goes past one. The ball spills to Petkovic, who goes on a good little run and gets the strike back on his left peg, but Davis and Hale in the Doncaster goal equal to it and holds. Thrown again on the right-hand side here. Only one of a few highlights in this first half. Dixon skips past a couple of challenges. The header away isn't great from the Doncaster defence. Miller on the overlap gets a strike away, and the keeper could only push it on the crossbar before the Doncaster defence scrambles clear. What a debut that would have been for the young 16-year-old to score on his debut. 0-0 though. At half-time, 8 shots, 6 on target, 61% possession. They've had 3 shots, none on target, and 39% of the ball. And 3 half chances, I'd get you to call them in terms of highlights. Assertively, I'm going to say we can still win this. Keep working hard and it'll come. And we do have some heavy hitters on the bench. I think maybe if we get to like the last 20 or 10 minutes or so, we might try and bring on some of those first team regulars and see if we can push to get through the competition. The extra cash would be good. Finances and stuff. Maybe a home tie against a big Premier League side would be very handy for us. We are through the hour mark now, though, with very little actually happening. And we're now at 70 minutes. Let's have a look at these performance-based subs. Rosero struggled a little bit. We've got Fessler on the bench. He can come on. Kamara can come off for Alta Miranda. And Winter has also struggled, but I think I'm going to let him see out the match. We might go a defensive sub. Tyrone Taylor can come off. Escobar can come on just to see out the last 20 minutes or so. I'm not sure what happens in the Carabao Cup, to be completely honest, if this stays 0-0. I'm going to use our Get Creative shout. It'll either go to extra time or it'll go straight to penalties or there'll be a replay. Like, anything could happen. I hope it's not a replay because we want to play the game against Newcastle as the next one in this episode. Winter went on a lovely little run there, beat a couple of men, but then just put the shot into the side netting. Throwing right-hand side for Dixon. We've had a couple of highlights build from this right-hand side, but nothing coming of them just yet. Centre with a great switch out towards Winter, who's got quite a bit to do. Body's getting into the box now. Backstick ball towards Fessler, who's flick-on header just over the crossbar. It looked like the keeper had it covered the entire way. We're into the last 10 minutes. We're going to demand more here. See if we can't push on. Try and find ourselves a winner. 2 minutes to be added on here. Now, it looks like this goes straight to penalties, which is very interesting. I haven't got that many good penalty takers in the overall squad, let alone in the backup players, but I would assume Doncaster are in a similar scenario. And I'm going to be honest, like if we go out on penalties, it's not a great reflection on the squad, but it's not going to upset me that much. I don't really care about the Carabao Cup at all. Alta Miranda with our first penalty. Goes straight down the middle. Thankfully, the keeper gets out of the way of it. Cash now for Doncaster. Again, goes straight down the middle. Maybe Viscani could have stand his ground. It looked like he got out of the way of it rather than tried to make a save. Senna, who was the best available penalty taker in that list. Lovely little penalty. Low and hard to the left-hand side of the keeper. Adams now for Doncaster. It's a good effort. Sends the keeper the wrong way. If Doncaster go perfect, I don't know if we've got the depth to actually follow suit. Winter, who had a poor game as far as match ratings are concerned, but his penalty is a decent finish. Pinegar, who they've got on loan, I'm thinking from Southampton, a player that we looked at quite a bit. If it is the right one. Good penalty he's taken. I don't think it is, because I think the other Pinegar is left-footed. We'll have a look at that after. Fessler, going to get the opportunity here to make it 4-4 in the shootout, and the keeper gets out of the road for him just to make it a little bit easier. Woolscroft, is that right? Or Woolscroft? Whatever it is, he's going to take a penalty for Doncaster here. And maybe Viscanian could have done a little bit better. I feel like Kubis would have saved that one. It was pretty close to him when it crossed the line. And it'll be Petkovic with the last penalty of the initial 10 to try and keep us in it here. Otherwise, we're going all the way through the subs. We're going all the way through the rest of the team. And it might end up coming down to Viscanian having to score a penalty if we get that far. Petkovic will get the opportunity, wrap his left peg around it. Ooh, and it's a good penalty, to be fair. Like, hard, low, left-hand side of the keeper again. Doesn't even move. Jan Chivrenchen, I'm going to guess, is the save there. Oh, good save from Viscanian. So we're finally seeing a crack in the Doncaster armour. If we score here, it should be enough to get us through. Greisinger, who has been decent so far, contributing in both the league and now an opportunity to contribute in the cup competition as well. We'll see how the big American central defender goes. I can't imagine he's going to do anything other than leather it straight down the middle. But we'll check this one out as it goes. And he does send it to the right of the keeper, who doesn't get there, and we do go through on penalties. So not the best performance from the squad guys. I think that kind of justifies a little bit the first choice 11 being the first choice 11. But in the end, 17 shots, 8 on target, 59%. We just didn't find that cutting edge to get through in regular time. Assertively, I'm going to say, very happy with the result and the way you played. No need to get down on anyone. And I did mention in the other day's episode that we do need to try and boost our morale a little bit. I destroyed it. I kept morale high all the way through last season, all the way to the very end, and then my final team talk before everyone went away on leave, I destroyed it. Just in one team talk it all goes, and I'm slowly working it back up throughout preseason this year. So we did need a shootout. Greisinger as the hero in the penalty spot gets a 7.1 match rating and the man of the match award. A few debutants in there. Petkovic, the main one they've called out here. Miller also made his debut in the contest as well. But for quite a few different players, their first start of the competition. And thankfully, that does mean that Torp has now served his yellow card suspension. We do have only 3 days until the game against Newcastle. We have played quite a bit of football as well over the opening few weeks here. So I'm just going to give everyone one rest day just to try and boost up a lot of this condition over 90%. You'd think a lot of the guys that didn't start that game or left out of the squad entirely will be at 100%. But why risk it? Why take any risks at this point in the season? Magic of editing, we're going to jump forward to the game against Newcastle now. All right, just like that, we're a couple of days further ahead. We've made one change. There's one player I'm going to leave out there, which is Winter. He didn't have the best match rating in the last game, but when I hit quick pick to see what the assistant thought, they actually started him instead of Londono on the left. And when I looked at Londono's average rating over the opening 5 games of the season, he's only at like a 6.7 in the Premier League across those first 3 games. So we might rotate and just see what happens there. Again, not closing the door on anyone, just let's give him an opportunity. Maybe he just needs better players around him to make those runs in behind. Newcastle side looks very, very handy though. They've got Lunin in goal at 32 years of age, full Ukrainian international, 123 caps. Looks to be a very good goalkeeping option. I think he starts the save, I'm guessing at Leganés over in Spain. He's been at Valladolid. He was at Real Madrid for 6 years, then Sporting Lisbon, then Watford, and now Newcastle. So like played at some high levels throughout that course and that period. Didn't make any appearances for Madrid, but the fact that they've bought him must mean he was decent at one point or another. They've got Ryan Sessegnon still playing at left back at the moment, 31 years of age. They picked him up from Eintracht Frankfurt after he left Tottenham in 2024. Looks to be fairly solid. Diogo Dalot from Man United is their captain, a wonder kid right fullback at the start of everyone's saving database. He went to Juventus for a bit, then Milan, and now he's made the jump over to Newcastle where he's been for the last 6 seasons. Even at 32, still looks to be a very good right back option. Ahead of him, they've got Araujo, I think you say you'd pronounce that. Right winger, he looks very good. 16 crossing, 16 dribbling, 16 technique. Portuguese right-sided winger, 9 caps to his name at 30 years of age. He looks quite good. And I think they've got a few very, very good regen players as well. Maloney is their highest average rating player for the season, a US international with 28 caps, 23 years of age. He looks very, very good. Physically, just a beast. Look at all that green there. That's bloody terrifying, to be honest. And Peterson up top, I think, is also a fairly decent player. Only 19 years of age, £48.5 million value. They picked him up for, I think that's Flamengo. Proper wonder kid, 17 pace, stamina, agility. His technique is what perhaps lets him down, and maybe we can get at him a little bit there, but he looks to be a very, very good prospect. Passionately, we're going to say, I know we're underdogs, but give these fans a performance to cheer for, and I'm assertively going to tell the defence and Alta Miranda up top that I have faith in them, because if we keep a clean sheet, if we get a goal, I pretty much back us to get some level of points. And again, like I've said at the start, we're just trying to stay in the division, so any points we pick up between now and then, I'm going to be very, very happy with. Already the 2 victories that we've got in the early part of the season is going to take a lot of pressure off. Ball in here. Alta Miranda's won it back in a great area from Romero. He hasn't got much of an angle to work with. Oh, it's a good save from Lunin. Came out, made himself big, took the angle away and forces it out for the corner. Short corner routine might be on here. Aguirre goes to Fessler, who can cut back on his left. And Aguirre again, lovely reverse pass. Escobar finds Fessler. Back to Escobar again. We could have cut it back across the 6-yard box at a little point in there. Hasn't worked out for us though. Escobar tries to recover possession as the highlight comes to an end. Throwing on the right. First we've seen from Portugal. First we've seen from Newcastle in possession. I was trying to think of their Portuguese right side, which is Araujo's gotten in now. And Goodlift does very well to recover in a good position. Clearance isn't bad. Finds Fessler as he makes his way over the halfway line. Just needs to slow down and wait for support. Brings it back to Escobar now, who plays a good little ball into Torp. Now out to the left-hand side. First involvement from Winter in his start with the first team. Good life, good overlapping run. The cross is closed down. Araujo looks to clear it. Escobar comes flying into midfield and recovers the ball very well. Fessler to Alta Miranda, and a lovely little triangle of passes there between Barbosa, Fessler and Alta Miranda. The drive from the edge of the area just beyond the far post. Good life with the ball in. Alta Miranda knocks it down to Torp. Now to Aguirre, who can get a strike away. Oh, instead he lays it off for Winter. Back to Aguirre again. We do lose out possession, and the ball forward to Newcastle has gotten Peterson 1v1 on this right-hand side. He's got a lot of work to do. We just need to stand him up. He does eventually get the strike at goal, but thankfully Kubas angles are good and he holds. It's been intense stuff here. We haven't been entirely out of it, but I don't know if it's just me, but I do feel a sense of anxiety when they get the ball that they've got greater quality to actually find finishes. They've got possession here. Maloney to Vallejos. They don't seem super urgent in terms of getting it forward. Bruno now finds Peterson, who seems to be the danger man in the build-up. Now out to Araujo. Strike from distance. Kubas equal to it. He watched it the entire way, but still needed to be at his best to force it out for the corner. Corner now taken by Maloney. Deep ball across. Escobar with a good header away. Ellison back to Maloney again. Escobar another good header, and then Winter just hacks that one into touch. 10 minutes remaining in the half. I'm going to use our demand more shout here. I think they're starting to put some pressure on. If we can find our focus and get through to half-time at 0-0, we'll be in an excellent position in the second half. Though they do have a throw in here on the right-hand side. Diogo Dalot takes the throw and then gets it back. Finds Vallejos at the top of the block. Switch out to Sessegnon, who squares it back up for Bruno. Now Maloney at the edge of the area. It's pinballing around, and Thiago Araujo gets his first of the season. We'll check it out in 3 dimensions here. I think the initial shot that came in from Maloney might have hit one of our defenders and just fallen to Araujo, who, to be fair, his technique was excellent on the first time finish. Sessegnon cuts it back to Bruno, then Sessegnon again. Maloney strike, it does. I think it hits our own player there in Sigurdsson. And Arujo, Fox in the box, just already seemingly had his foot up near his neck to try and side foot that one home. Clips the post on the way in to make it look a bit more dramatic as well. Ball in here from the corner. We've hit the post again. They've hit the post again. So very quickly, Newcastle turned the screws there in that last 10 minutes of the half. Aggressively, I'm going to say show me something else in the second half, which is a little bit risky because I'm not super worried about the results just yet this part early in the season. But at least everyone's responded positively, which is always great to see. As we always do, we'll give it 15 minutes and then we'll have a look at match ratings. There's a couple of low ones out there, a few 6.4s I can see in the build-up. A couple of yellow cards as well we'll have to keep an eye on. Ball resets here, first highlight of the second half. Benchop, back to Escobar. So we look to play our way out from the back. He's gone long towards Altamiranda, who loses out in that header 9 times out of 10. Romero recovers for Newcastle, and they switched out quite nicely out to the right-hand side. Diego Dalla immediately sees space in front of him, starts to go on a run. Switches out left. Fessler's won the ball back in a good midfield area for us. Now Torp puts it to no one in particular, basically just gives possession back. Long ball forward, Sigurdsson does well, Barbosa does tremendously well, and Altamiranda beats one defender, gets to the edge of the area, and he was closed down pretty effectively. Lunin equal to the strike. Ball clearance here. I nearly said ball clearance, which isn't the right way to speak any sort of language, but we are in possession. Escobar all the way back to Kubis. Good little ball over to Torp, who has a nice first time touch out to Barbosa. Winter had an overlapping runner. Instead, he looked for the switch himself. We managed to pinball it around to Altamiranda, though. Fessler got the flick-on header. Altamiranda he just got himself in between the two central defenders and the goalkeeper, and we found an equaliser. Some might say against the run of play based on the strength of Newcastle's first half, but we've done quite well. Winter with the switch there, and Fessler's lovely little cushion header puts it in a dangerous area. Again, I'd be maybe a little bit upset the keeper hadn't come flying out a little bit earlier, but Altamiranda only needs one opportunity, and he smashes that one into the back of the net for the equaliser. Wide free kick, Maloney to take. He seems to be on all their set pieces. It's pinballing around, and Elias Machuca, however you pronounce that, 28-year-old Argentine defender. Looks like he starts at Racing Club. He's done quite well. The initial save from Kubis, I think, was fantastic. We'll check it out here in 3 dimensions. Maloney, left foot, always swinging back towards back post. It's a good header. Kubis with an excellent save, but not really getting any help from the teammates there as Machuca puts that one back in. Deep free kick, Maloney on them again. He's their set-piece specialist, really. You can already kind of see it. We have recovered possession, though. Aguirre comes forward now. We've got numbers on the left-hand side if we can find them. Winter with a chance to find the goal on his debut, and Lunin with an excellent save puts it out for the corner. We're going to pause there, and we're going to try and make these subs. So Winter is struggling, 6.3 match rating. We're going to bring on Londono on the left. Barbosa's got a yellow card. Should I trust him? Let's not go risky. Let's not risk going down to 10 man. Let's take off let's take off Escobar and Barbosa, who are on yellow cards. We'll bring on Grasinger and we'll bring on Senna in midfield. And let's passionately say, I have faith in you guys. Get out there, make a difference. We've scored once, so we know we can do it. We're going to use our Get Creative shout as well. The first highlight is a ball in from Aguirre from the corner and Sigurdsson with a decent header. So if things stay as they currently are, it'll be 2 wins and 2 defeats from the opening 4 games, but both Newcastle and West Ham are currently in the top half. Maloney with the ball in from the corner here. Again, set pieces are causing us issues. Romero with the initial flick on, and Machuca nearly makes it a double. I think just the angle got the better of him. Highlight here, Kubis plays forward to Grasinger. Good ball into Torp, who's got time at the base of midfield. He finds Aguirre, who turns and runs and sends one out to the fresh sub Londono. Can get back on his favourite right foot. Instead he goes the cross, which wasn't quite on. I think Martinelli is on for Newcastle. It might be Gabriel Martinelli. I'll have to check in a moment. We managed to work it all the way back to Kubis. It's good to see that we're not panicking possession. We're happy to go back to the keeper and work a better opportunity if there's nothing on. Kubis, now Grasinger, can turn, finds Torp in midfield, sends one over right to Fessler, who does very well to bring it down in traffic. Sessignon with the tackle, but Fessler's going to get there first again. Sends one in, and eventually it made its way to Aguirre, who just blazed over from 10 yards. Let's use our demand more shout. We're in the last 10 minutes here. And Fessler's had a good game. Altamiranda's had a good game as well. We haven't exactly been torn apart, but 4 minutes to be added on, and we're through that now. The referee calls full time. It's a 2-1 defeat. 13 shots, 5 on target, 54% possession. Newcastle with 20 shots, 11 on target and 46%. But to be fair, I think they were the better side if we look at the quality of the chances they had. Assertively, we were underdogs. You gave it your best effort. Well done. Everyone's responded positively. I'm just trying to keep morale up as much as possible at this point in the season. But that will see Newcastle, I think, go up into the Champions League spots. Definitively. They do indeed. They're in 4th position. 3 wins, 1 draw in the opening part of the season. So maybe they are a relatively strong lineup. We dropped down to 9th position, but nothing to worry about just yet. Wolves, Leeds and Leicester all just a single point from the start of the season. So we do have a little bit of a buffer there as well. And plus 3 goal difference isn't anything to be too upset about either. Man United early doors, top of the division, 4 straight wins. Chelsea, 3 wins, 1 draw, but plus 14 goal difference. I think they had like plus 12 goal difference after 2 games of the season, so they're obviously going to be one to watch as well. Now, looking forward, I do want to try and bring you guys as much football as humanly possible in this series and in these episodes. But what I'm thinking we might do is maybe play the Wolves game and the Chelsea game, even though they're second off screen. Play Carabao Cup off screen, because I think we're probably going to get knocked out of that competition now that we've got Brighton, and we will play our reserve squad in it. And then maybe come back and play Southampton, a side that have been in the Premier Division, I'm pretty sure, the entire save so far. Yes, they have indeed. So all 13 seasons have been spent in the Premier League and up towards, kind of mid-table the entire time without really doing anything spectacular. Got as high as 8th in 2025, as low as 15th 3 seasons ago, and 13th the last 2 years. A proper Premier League mainstay, that'll be a good test. And then obviously a very big trip. Oh, no, I take that back. A very big trip for Man United as they make their way to the DW Stadium. It's not a big trip at all. Wigan's not that far from Manchester. I'm talking absolute shit at the minute. But obviously a massive, massive fixture for the club. So it will mean we play 2 or 3 games off screen, come back for the Southampton game, come back for the Manchester United game, which will of course be a massive one and sets us up nicely for tomorrow's episode. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's the part that I appreciate the most. If you want to go that extra mile, be a super fan, do that little bit extra for the series and the save and the channel, you can drop a like on this video, or you can subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date on all our future videos. We're getting very closely and quickly to 200 subscribers, which has been fantastic. FM20 has been wonderful for the growth of the channel, as has this series. So thank you very much, of course, as always. You can check out those links just over on that side if you want to check out our Twitter, which is where we interact with all the community. If you ever want anything or want to reach out, you can do it in the comment section below, but you can reach me directly on Twitter as well. And we do our regular Sunday night Twitch streams, twitch.tv/InTheMixer_FM. I had to remember if it was actually _FM there for a moment, but those are on Sunday morning if you're in the UK, Sunday night if you're in Australia. But as always, I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.